We opened Series 2 on the South Island of New Zealand, chasing bull Tahr on a wilderness block we had drawn in the West Coast Tahr ballot. After choppering in and setting up camp, a lucky run of crystal clear weather for 3 days straight gave our 5-man party just what we needed to climb high into the bluffs and harvest some quality bulls. Early on day 2, we had spooked a monster buck chamois while climbing for Tahr. We had no chance for a shot and he disappeared below us down into the monkey scrub. Chamois are introduced to the South Island, however their native range of the Central European mountains makes them perfectly suited to the Southern Alps of New Zealand. Chamois have incredible eyesight, an amazing sense of smell and are super agile, so not surprisingly they are respected trophies for keen mountain hunters around the world. We were fortunate to have between us some quality bull Tahr under the belt, so our attention now turned to hunting these very challenging little alpine dwellers. Over the last few days we've been split up in 2 parties, but today we've joined, and this is Shane, and he's an experienced local here. He's been hunting Tahr for nearly 30 years, is that right?
Yeah.
And he's the area manager with Doc. We're going to team up with Shane this morning as we head round to some new country, try and spot a chamois, and also some of the Tahr you saw yesterday. So you saw a number of good bulls here, wasn't it?
Yeah, I saw 4 or 5 bulls in a handy little gully there.
The weather's starting to turn here. We're already thinking about a possible exit tomorrow.
Yeah, weather's on the change. Our good clear days are over. There's a bit of cloud here, but
We had a good gravy run for a few days there, didn't it?
beautiful, isn't it?
Plans were made to split up and cover some ground to try and locate the chamois. We started climbing while Clark and Jundon contoured, and we'll meet up with this again later, further around on the spur.
So you can see here a little bit of impact of Tahr browsing in this quiet little gut. Get into these sheltered little spots, and they've browsed these out quite heavy. And once they browse them right down like that, you can see that one's heading the same way, and they're up there. Then they die off. When there's a lot of traffic through, then you start to get a bit of soil movement. It's okay in little wee pockets like this. It's when you get a big mob that starts to do concentrated damage. That's a bit of a worry, but this is okay. Just little pockets of it like this is tolerable.
For anyone back home wondering what the hell this crazy thing is on the end of this barrel, that's called a pipe, a muffler, a silencer, or a suppressor. They're banned back home in Australia. We can see these Kiwis are hardcore killing machines. They like to get in close and doof. But
Don't know what's at them.
they're pretty
Plus it saves the old ears.
Yeah, pretty popular thing over here, really, though, isn't it?
Really, we are now. Took
weigh.
me a while to convert, but now that I have,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be without them.
What's that weigh? Only a couple hundred grams, if that.
200 or 300 grams, and you can shift your sling point onto there, so it means the weight of balance is okay for carrying it on your back.
Pretty common amongst these old culling brigade.
Yeah, sometimes you can get a few shots away before they know what's going on.
With the Kias keeping a close eye on us, we pushed on around the face, but all was quiet. It wasn't long before Clark and Jundon rejoined us, but unfortunately they hadn't seen anything either. Shane was keen to check out a sharp ridge that had a great view of some likely chamois country, but also the area he and Greg had seen the big Tahr on previously. We stalked in and got set up, and under the watchful eye of our friends started glassing the scrubby openings for movement. The plan paid off straight away as soon as we hit this ridge. Greg and Shane here spotted a couple of bulls. We've just been able to film them down there. We've got one a bit low. He's just gone down the scrub. That big low bull's just gone around the corner. There's 2 nice bulls there. They're a long way. They're just under 400. Maybe a little bit out of range. For me anyway.
The old bull has just appeared again. He's just working his way down the ridge. He looks around about the 12-inch mark, I reckon. He's probably about a 7-year-old.
The bulls were out of range, so we moved on to keep looking, and the terrain got steeper and steeper. Although sometimes inevitable, it's important on any alpine hunt to stay within your comfort zone. I'd reached the end of mine that day, and the angle had finally got the better of me. I left Greg and Shane to climb on up into the bluffs and headed back to join Clark and keep searching.
It's been a good little start to the morning, but the wind unfortunately spun right around and these Kias are giving us serious grief. Got quite a few Tahr below us, but I don't want to come any closer and most of the nannies are onto us. It's a bit of a stalemate at the moment.
The last few days we've concentrated high up on the bluffs, but we're finding there's a lot of good big bulls down here in the brush. But it's tough going. It is steep, a lot of brush that just hangs straight down, and they're living amongst that. These prickly Spaniards, they just murder. We're right here in the zone now. There's got to be something right beside us. There's a little ledge here.
These bush bluffs can be some of the most frustrating things you'll ever find yourself in. Some crazy
It's all easy, that bush, isn't it? Put up on the rocks any day.
The weather started to roll in fast, so we decided to quit while we were ahead and radioed the chopper for an early exit the next morning. Despite the bad forecast right down the west coast, our local weather was beautiful and clear, but with the heli already on its way, we were locked in for an exit. We rehashed our plans for an immediate return to Hokitika to sort and repack the gear so we could make the most of the clear weather and get straight back up into the mountains looking for chamois. We prepared for a super early assault the next morning at some likely chamois country on public land that we could access on foot. Now, I've hunted chamois twice before over the years, both unsuccessfully. The first time further south in Fjordland nearly 10 years ago. On that trip, we set about climbing up into a huge glacial valley system, and while the weather closed in and the chamois beat us, getting to see the remote glacier at the head of the valley was an incredible experience. In terms of distance, altitude and steepness of terrain, that was one of the biggest days I'd ever done, and I honestly thought that I'd never do a day like that again. Well, I was wrong.
On the chase for this elusive chamois today. We've gone to a local spot and we've got a 1,000-metre climb straight up into the chamois ground, so it's going to be a bit of a slap in the face first thing in the morning, but we're hoping our luck's going to hold. We might catch up with one of these little fellas. The weather's just holding out for us. Fingers crossed. A bit of power walking and we'll find one of these little fellas. Came into town, celebrated our Tahr success with a few beers and a big feed. Feeling pretty rusty right now. Time to lose a layer. Is that only 800, 900 metres to go, straight up? Up with these South Islanders, these locals, hard work. Chamois equals pain. Getting there. There's Greg. Whew, up above the clouds. Far off the alpine country now, just down a little saddle and up a little steep pinch for 10 minutes and get onto that nice
tussock ridge there, you can see the sun shining on there.
Just getting our first glimpses of the tussock in the sun, it's good.
Yeah.
Timed it beautifully.
It's a nice time to catch a chamois on a spur, they just stick out.
Yeah.
Stand out like dog's balls.
Oh, perfect timing. It's local knowledge is the key. Having someone like Shane knows his climb times, everything to get up here and nail it right on the good light coming up. So a bit more hard work and we can get the binos out and get into it. Finally broken tree line. Oh, that's one of the most monumental punches up I've ever done. Never wanted to end. Like anything, you put in the hard work and eventually it pays off. With the legs and lungs burning, we reached the tussock and headed around onto the cooler face. I looked up on the horizon and bingo, it was game on. The chamois was onto us, but our wind was good. We dropped low into the grass to buy us some precious seconds and I lined up steady for the shot. The chamois fell at just under 190 metres and the pain I was feeling just seconds ago was quickly forgotten and replaced with a blend of sombre excitement that only a hunter knows.
Just got to the peak of the climb. A couple of hours of hard grind and a lot of gravy lost.
And you reckon we're an hour slower than he normally does?
Yeah.
I couldn't have gone any faster. I was in pain 50 metres back there and bang.
Yeah.
Chamois just, that's what all the hard work makes it
All
worth.
gone, eh?
Oh, yeah. He's only got one horn, but I don't care.
Yeah.
That is a trophy. Again, this eliminator, that's just, gives you so much confidence.
Yeah, just dropped on the spot, didn't he?
I've got to hand it to you. Local knowledge up here is unbelievable. You said we'll get round in that shady face. That's where they generally hang. Because obviously, Northern Hemisphere animals, it's easy to see us walking around in this cold and snow and back home think these animals are coming to the sun like deer would, but it's not the case. They seek the shade, don't they?
No, I always find these chamois are on the cold faces.
Well, that's a pretty good start.
Yeah, first cold face, there's one on it, so good.
I'll keep up my promise and let the cameraman have a ping now if we see another one.
We're on the board. We've got a few places to look yet, so
Yeah. Let's go and check him out, eh? Look at that.
I don't know. First chamois.
First chamois.
Beautiful.
Oh, you earned that.
Nice black skin.
Beautiful skin on these things.
Beautiful fella.
What a trophy. Mate, I've worked hard on a couple of hunts, but that's up there with it. That walk was a killer. That made it so worthwhile. Look at this beautiful animal. I've always wanted to get a chamois. I came here to the South Island in my early 20s and did a self-guided hunt. These things were ghosts, and a walker came through the pass and told me where there were some. I was backpacking up there on my own and I never saw them, but I always wanted to come back. And unfinished business after seeing that big buck the other day in the Tahr country, that just got fueled the fire. Be able to come out of there and still land this weather. We came out early thinking the weather was going to close in, but it held, gave us enough time. We didn't want to sit around. How long do you reckon that one is?
It's probably about 8.5.
8.5? And what are you looking for in a good representative buck chamois? It's about 10, isn't it?
9 these days.
9.
I mean, 10's a really good trophy. Not many 10s around. 9-inch bucks are good, but
Yeah. And look at this skin, striped down the back. And he's turning now into its winter coat.
yeah, he's nearly into full winter coat. He's just losing the last of the brown fur.
Yep.
Starting to get this ridge.
Yep.
See that ridge? Probably another 3 or 4 weeks. It'll be up about that high.
Right.
Some winters you only get them like that if it's not cold.
Mm-hmm.
You don't quite get rid of a bit of brown fur.
Well, we're going to start the trophy work on this for a full mount. This is going to be pride of place with my Tahr. And this chamois fell with one shot from the Ticker T3. And this Superformance ammunition, I've been absolutely blown away by the power of these. 165 grain Superform 300 Win Mag. Thump. One shot kills. After taking the chamois, we moved on with high spirits to keep looking, as Greg was now looking for his first chance at a buck. Moving carefully along the leading ridge, glassing as we went, we slowly and methodically searched the tussock. As Greg and Shane approached the summit, I caught movement below and to our right, and we'd spooked a small group led by a ripper buck. Greg got off a hasty shot but missed, and the buck split from the mob and disappeared into the monkey scrub. We were in a great position to watch the face he was on, so stayed put and waited. Then as luck would have it, he headed high for the opposite saddle and came back into view, emerging from cover over 400 metres away. Greg lined up again on a barrel-stretching shot, but unfortunately missed, firing clean over his back, and the buck slipped away. Very exciting, quick session there. 3 chamois jumped up just below us. Quickly made it down, but really tough shots for Greg. And the buck came out and tried to cross over the saddle there behind me, but long shot, well over 400. Puffing and wheezing like this, very tough. But great to see them. They're beautiful, lit up in the sun. Big black bodies.
Yeah.
I've seen 6 in an hour or so. It's been fantastic. We're going to scoot round to that saddle now, see if we can find them. We climbed up and over the summit to glass the shady side of the mountain where we hoped they would be feeding. Unfortunately, the face was empty, but then, in another stroke of luck, over the distant ridge, a group moved in. 4 chamois just popped over the ridge right down the end there. Just came bolting over. I think it's 3 nannies and a buck. So they're coming into the rut now. We've got to get in close to gap by about half. They've got razor sharp eyesight, these animals, so we're going to stay in the shadows. Hopefully we can get close to them moving now. The gap was closed by staying out of the light and moving only when they did. We finally got to within range. It was still a long shot at just over 300 metres, but with a solid rest, Greg was confident. An animal with a distinctly darker coat and larger body size fed above the group and was identified as the buck. After waiting patiently, he finally fed out of the tall tussock. A shot presented and Greg was bang on the money. After the shot, the group stayed close, so I quickly grabbed the ticker and took the opportunity to take a nanny that would make a great skin and meat animal. Greg was keen to see his buck, and after missing those couple of tough shots earlier, he was quick to get down that hill and check out his chamois. There's nothing better than sharing these experiences with good mates and seeing them get the rewards, especially when they've worked so hard to earn them. When he finally laid eyes on his buck, he sure was one happy young hunter.
Beautiful.
Congratulations.
Magic. Thanks, Shane. Really appreciate it, mate.
Buck chamois.
Magic.
Well, this couldn't have worked out better on this beautiful day and pretty much the last hunting day. I got that big nanny earlier before, and then missing those other ones. Greg was a bit dirty on himself, but we got another chance and that worked out beautifully. You got yourself your first buck chamois.
Yeah, absolutely stoked. Such an awesome animal, and yeah, just couldn't be happier.
Just under 300 yards too, long
Yeah,
shot.
long shot, but yeah, got ourselves into a good stable shooting position, and yeah, pretty much unalarmed animals, it really makes that difference. You get into that solid shooting position and yeah, the confidence comes back.
Beautiful animals. It's a bit melancholy really
Yeah, yep.
to kill them when they're such beautiful animals, but they are introduced here. They need to be controlled. Well, they make such fantastic trophies, the skin and the shoulder mounts or the full mounts, and particularly with these ones, we're going to take them as a full mount, so we've got a lot of work to do now. It'll take most of the day.
Get back out up.
The monstrous carry back out up, and then it's down, down, down all the way home.
Yeah, that's it.
Those back legs off those younger chamois would be very nice roasted or corned. I can get them corned, really nice corned meat.
Shane's just a machine. He's more than twice my age and he's just running us into the ground. Just doesn't stop. He might be human, who knows?
We've just hit the highest peak in the district, coming out off that animal retrieval. Been pretty rewarding.
Yeah, for sure.
We left the car at what, 3:20 or something?
Yeah, somewhere in the low threes.
3:20, and we've just hit 15:20. So near 1,200 metre climb today. But with a chamois each in the pack, we couldn't be happier. This goes to show that no matter how hard you work, you know, scenes like this just makes it all worthwhile. Incredible. Pointing to sparring a cold beer, isn't it?
Yeah, that's good.
Well, that has just wrapped up a 12-hour day. One of the biggest of my life, but very rewarding. So good to be at the bottom, straight into the car, home to a hot shower, and wrap up this trip. What a massive day. Our time on the west coast had finally drawn to a close. It had been an epic week of hard mountain hunting with the blessing of the weather gods to make it all possible. As expected, the Southern Alps had given us a workout with memories to last a lifetime. Now with the gear packed, we started the long drive back to Christchurch, and as always, the topic of conversation was those amazing mountains and just how soon we could all get back.
Maroka 30 is the proud hunting clothing and equipment sponsor of Beyond the Divide. Custom designed for our local conditions and uniquely Australian. Ask for it in store at your local gun shop or check out the full range at maroka30.com.au.